So we are going to celebrate our 31st year anniversary.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
31, we've, looking back, it feels like, no, it doesn't. It feels like, como dijera alguien, 5 minutes underwater, But, we've gone through different stages. And one of the things that I'm really grateful for is the fact that we've grown together. I think that's one of the things that a lot of marriages lack. As they grow apart. But the fact that we're in this stage of our lives now and, enjoying our lives together, our kids grown up with grandkids already, and still be together and continue to grow, that's exciting.
I think that's a mutual work. Because I remember coming to you and telling you, sweetie, I believe that you're growing faster than me and help me grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that helps a lot. And seeing this crisis that we're going right now, the pandemic, the crisis that the world is going, I think that we've been, in the past 30 years, we were talking about that we've been in different crises in our life. I think we've been through 5 crises.
Okay.
Right? Probably my crises are been different than yours, but definitely in the 5, definitely 4 we went through together.
Together, okay.
Yeah, so the first one was, definitely. That one made us grow really, really fast.
Yeah.
Right? The second one was, we went through 5 crises.
What was your first one?
The first crisis was when we were about to divorce.
Yeah, and that was a big one. And you're right, you said 5, but then there's crises that you go through as a couple. There's crises that you go through, even you're married, but you're going through a crisis individually. For example, in the woman's case, right, when they go through menopause, it's you're in marriage, but to a certain extent, it hits the woman more.
The ladies, yeah.
And yes, we as men also suffer a lot.
Like what? Why are you suffering? You don't suffer here with me.
Yeah, but one of the things that and that word has been thrown around a lot right now, crisis.
Crisis. Do you know the meaning of crisis?
Well,
What's the dictionary?
Well, I don't remember word by word, but it could be defined as a point in life, situation in life. In this case, worldwide, we're confronting challenges that are going to produce changes.
That's a difficult situation that someone confronts in a defined moment. And based on that, I believe that, like we said, in this 30 years, we've been through 5. And we can say it through so many crises, but definitely 5 of them have marked our lives.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that the reason why they marked our lives is because, going back to what is crisis, it's a turning point. Yeah. It's a moment where things change. And one of the things that, that would be very sad, putting aside the pandemic right now, because that's a big topic, but, this is going to eventually, como todo, like everything else is going to go by. But the big question is, what is our marriage going to look like afterwards? And that's one of the things, going back to growing together in this 31 years, is that all of the crises we've confronted have brought us closer together. Have brought us, going back to it, we've grown together again. So I think that would be the big question for, people watching this and asking themselves that question.
Exactly. So thinking, right? We pray that it will go over quick or will be finished. But what about the couples? What about the couples that in this moment they see this situation as a exit?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
How about those couples that they decide, you know what, it's so hard to, this past 48 hours or this past 7 weeks, they've been so hard, and they decide to separate.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking so many couples that they are home right now and they're really suffering because they are inside with the kids, with their spouses, and they're not having the time of their lives. Because I really believe that this situation, this crisis, they need to come and unite us. And that's the Father heart. You know, God's heart is for us to be united. So I believe that we have to continue, like you said, grow as one.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but well, first of all, about 3 weeks ago, we came to a realization that not everybody is going through this crisis the way we are. Okay, and what do I mean by that? You know, we are going through it peacefully. We are going through it in faith. We are going through it in unity with our family, with our kids, with our extended family. You know, we're looking out for each other with the church.
Yeah.
We have seen God's provision. God's, you know, He's given us that health, that strength, that motivation. But here's the thing, you know, we talked about this about 3 weeks ago, that not everybody is going through it in the same way.
That's right.
So then you remember many years ago at our church, one day I was teaching and I was talking about our family. And I remember you telling me this, that a lady came to you and said she was mad. Yeah, that's not possible.
To live a life like that, it's not possible to be faithful. It's not possible to be happy in a marriage. It's not possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was an eye opener,
Yeah.
because I've said this from the beginning, that everybody's going through this. They're having their own experience, and what you said right now, it would be very sad that through this crisis, instead of growing together and sticking together, as you know, all of us vowed at an altar in front of a priest or a minister or a judge, that we would be together to the end. So I really hope that somehow our conversation today is, edifying and influence over those couples that are challenged, that are being challenged to believe that there's actually a way to live together.
So what should we advise that couples? Okay, crisis will be done. We're going to go back to our normal, well, I cannot say our normal life, because our life is not going to be normal.
No.
After this, the world is not going to be the same. And that's probably another topic that we're going to talk about, because everybody wants the world to be the same, and it's not going to be the same. So what should we advise the couples? And not only couples, but those that they are wanting to get married and get far in life as a marriage couple. So what should we advise? First of all, grow together.
Yes. Yeah. You know what you touched on, and from the looks of things, it means a lot to you. The part about how you came to me and you said you're growing faster than me.
Yeah.
You need to pull me in. How many women are feeling like that? How many women are feeling left behind in ministry, in business, even as little as making a house decisions?
That's right.
They feel left behind because the big macho, left behind, right? The big I'm the man of the house and I make the decision, so on. But that was a decisive moment, and I do remember that. As a matter of fact, not only that, but going way back, you remember when we lived in Hawthorne and you were invited to a Bible study.
Yeah. Oh, that was a defining moment. and thanks to you, I remember coming home and I was invited to go to a Bible study, and they asked me to share. And I remember not being able to say any word, and I came home crying. I call you.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah, I said, no, I was so embarrassed, I'm not going back. And you said, sweetie, this week, you get the Bible, you study the Bible, you get a Bible verse. And next week, when you go back and they ask you to share the word, you'll stand right there and you'll preach the word because you were called for this.
Exactly.
So,
and that's one of, and then I know it has to do with, with character, it has to do with temperament, it has to do with, pilas, personality, because that's one of the things that, I've admired about you, that when you face a challenge, yes, there are times where, where we cry, where we think we're not going to make it, we all go through that, but right after that, you gear up and you move forward.
the palms.
Yeah, you move forward, and that's one of the things that, as your husband, I've been very proud to see you, to this day, continue, that attitude towards everything in life. From your personal, family, business, ministry, we just move forward. So,
Because of God and you, definitely. So let's advise the people, because I have I wanted to touch on another subject, but right now we say grow together.
mm-hmm.
What else can we say?
I would say, grow together, making sure that in todo,
everything.
whether it's business, ministry, lo que sea, we need to, make sure that, we're growing together. And I would say number two, know that you're going to go through different stages in your marriage.
As a person and as a marriage.
And
right?
that's right. Knowing where you're at in your life. And that's because, if you don't understand that, there's going to be frustration there. There's going to be frustration. If you're in a stage right now where you're married, you have young kids, you do not have that same liberty as parents that have grown up kids. No, that's
like us.
Okay, like us. If you're newlyweds, no kids, you're starting off in life, you have different, you're in a different stage. Yeah, so know that you're going to go through different stages. That would be an acceptance.
Yes,
An acceptance. And then number three, I would say know that love is not just a feeling, but it's an action, it's a verb. And the commitment that we made as far as loving each other, to the coming of the Lord, it goes beyond the feelings, because if you've been married more than a year, you've already experienced that. It's already been experienced that your feelings are going to change.
Definitely, yeah.
But that's where you have to make a determination that you're going to love. So, go ahead.
So I think you said we agree, and I say yes, going together, acknowledge
the different stages you go through,
and
knowing that love is more than a feeling.
And I would add, because someone asked me the same questions a couple of months ago, and I sent the same, and you add this, and I would add the strong relationship with God.
Yes.
The strong relationship with God, for us to glue everything together, knowing that we cannot do it by ourselves. That's something that, last time when I read my book, and that's something that you mentioned last time, being before the Lord and bringing everything to the Lord, everything. We have changed. I know that because of our words and advices, and because we sit like this and we comfort each other, and we go through the things like this moment, but through prayer. We change so many things through prayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the 4 advices. So before that we have to finish, but there's people leaning or going through this crisis, and depending on other people. So before we finish, what should we advise those couples that they're depending on other people, their issues, other depending on other people and other things? What should we advise?
Well, are they depending on a good way or in a bad way?
The bad. Like, let's say, in this moment, I believe that this crisis is for us to be together, right? As a couple. We're talking about couple right here. But there's couples that they're depending on friends, depending on bad habits.
Okay. They're seeking comfort in other.
There you go.
Other than, okay. So I would say this, that remember that your best friend is your spouse.
There you go.
Or should be your spouse.
Well, it should be your spouse. I mean, we're giving advice and hoping, So remember that your best friend is your spouse. Your number one, other than God being the number one fountain, the second person that you should seek that support from in any crisis is your spouse. Now, if it's an issue within the couple and you cannot rely on that, well then, you have to have a spiritual father, spiritual leader, mature leader that has the wisdom of God to be able to, to come to him, her, and say, hey, we're going through this.
Yeah.
And find that.
And find someone that is ahead of you, someone that is leading that way. If you have children or if you have kids that they are 5, 6 years old, don't ask questions to someone that just barely starting their marriage. That's how I think, because we've been seeking advice from people that they are ahead of us. They are the visionaries. They've been through that. So I believe that's what you were saying. I considered since we met, you are my best friend. You know everything, even the way I'm gonna act, the way things seem. I believe that I'm your best friend.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So confident. So I believe that we are in this situation, this crisis together, but this is going to be done pretty soon, and we want you to have your marriage to be successful. Last words to our viewers. And thank you for being here with us today. I'm so glad that my honey is with us today. I hope that we empower your life. And before we finish, a few words.
Yeah, just remember that there is no such thing as perfect marriage, and that is one of the things about having someone on your side that knows your strength and knows your weaknesses, and in that you complement each other.
Yeah.
So stop competing, stop signaling out the weaknesses. You're there to make them stronger and grow together.
Blessings.